which will be the match of the night at All Elite Wrestling's All Out. I say it's Cody versus Shawn Spears, and I tell you why next on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. This is Ralph Valenti. Don't forget to subscribe if you want the best talk in AEW, NXT, WWE, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. With All Out happening this Saturday, a lot of good matches on this card. And as I mentioned, I think the match of the night is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. Ralph, do you agree with me?
I actually disagree. I'm taking Omega and PAC. And I know obviously you shared some concerns saying that they're similar styles and that doesn't always ensure a great match. And while I certainly agree with that, I think that this match with two of the more technical guys and especially Kenny Omega being essentially dubbed the best bout machine, I'm not going to bet against him. Okay. I think that this is going to go down as the best match of the night. I think this is going to end up being one of the more important matches because like I said in our previous video, they need to establish top heels.
Yep.
PAC was certainly in a position to be one of their top heels, obviously, before the whole thing happened where they had the disagreement about creative differences and things like that. So I think that he's going to need a win over Omega, and Omega's going to need the win over him. Both of them need it to help establish themselves. I think they're going to go out there, put on a really fast-paced, technical, high-flying performance. I think that's going to really be something that the AEW fan is interested in. Obviously, there's a difference between what your traditional wrestling enthusiasts or historians are going to like out of a match where there's more psychology, a little bit slower paced, which Cody Rhodes certainly has managed to do in all of his matches to this point. I think it's fair to say that Cody has had the best matches in all of the pay-per-views so far.
That was part of my argument there, but
and I'm not going to bet against Omega because I feel like this is really his opportunity to go out there with a guy who's probably one of the more technical wrestlers in the world while also a high flyer and steal the show. So that's going to be my pick for match of the night.
All right, so here's why I think it's going to be Cody and Shawn Spears. Now, first things first. On the Road to All Out series, they've been pushing this match more than any other match on the card. And I think because, like I said in the previous episode with Moxley and Omega at the time, people are just so excited for that match, dream match, that those don't necessarily need a build. We already know what the Bucks and Lucha Brothers can do. Hangman versus Jericho has the title, so there's not much build to it. I mean, yes, you want to build it, and they've done a decent job trying to get people to get support on Hangman Page. You know, you have the tag team match between the Best Friends and the Dark Order, which the winner gets a first round bye in the tag team tournament. So there's somewhat of a build there. And you have this match, Shawn Spears versus Cody Rhodes. Why did Shawn Spears attack him with the chair shot? We got, you know, that story taken care of. Now we have Tully Blanchard involved in this match where he says only one person could support Cody Rhodes in the back. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Dustin, his brother? Is it going to be Brandy, his wife? Is it going to be Pharaoh, his dog? Is it going to be MJF, his best friend? Could it be Arn Anderson, a former Four Horsemen and friend of Tully Blanchard? Yeah. You know, there's so many layers upon layers upon layers of storytelling here. And that is, to me, why Cody Rhodes' matches have been the best matches of the shows. And, we talk about Orange Cassidy. We had an episode last week on Orange Cassidy, and it was a very polarizing episode. Some people love him, some people hate him. But the thing about Orange Cassidy is he's different. The thing about Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears is that approach to that match is going to be different from all the other matches.
I agree with that.
You know, all the other matches are going to be fast-paced, high-flying spots, you know, what AEW is trying to push. But Cody, on the other hand, is trying to push storytelling. And people, you know, sometimes have that thing in wrestling where if it's different, we're just going to like it because it's different. So that's why I think it's going to be the best match of the night. And I think it's going to have the big moment, whether that's Arn Anderson showing up, whether that's going to be MJF turning on Cody. There's going to be a big moment in that match.
Yeah. Well, one of my concerns is this, and I think with the Cody Dustin match, you had a lot of investment because they have that relationship. They're brothers.
Right.
They were really able to push that with a lot of the social media stuff that they did, whether it was on, being the elite or the road to Double or Nothing or whatever it was.
Right.
And I feel like with this one, it's not. Yes, there's the relationship between Shawn Spears and Cody,
Right.
but not to the extent of this is two brothers going against each other. They have a strong hatred for one another. There's some resentment on either end. I get where this is going storyline-wise with Shawn Spears. But my problem is, to me, as far as talking about which match is going to deliver, Shawn Spears, to me, when he was in the WWE and when he was in NXT, it was more so the character that got him over. Right. So, and that's fine. I have no issue with that because you look at a number of guys. Hulk Hogan comes to mind, Steve Austin to a certain extent. Usually the guys with the character that get over are the bigger stars, and that's fine. He was definitely over in NXT for the character. But I don't necessarily think back and say, oh, well, Ty Dillinger had some great matches. Granted, there were some good matches, but it wasn't like you point to you could say, oh, well, Cody Rhodes and his match with Dustin, that was like an instant classic because it is. That's one that you're going to look back 10, 20 years from now and say that one show at AEW, that was the one thing you remember because the crowd was so into it.
Right.
Shawn Spears, to me, while he's good and he's, what did Cody call him? A good hand?
Yeah.
He is. I mean, he's a reliable guy. He can go out there. He can have good to solid matches, but you want me to pick a match involving him and Cody, which Cody has been great, over a match involving the best bout machine, I can't do that. So
Kenny Omega was on those same cards that Cody has had the best matches in.
That's fine. That's fine. But again, when you look at the Dustin match and the Cody match, that had so much investment because they built it up so well, and they're trying to build this up. But they're as much as they try to build this up, I don't think they're going to have the dynamic or the crowd investment like they did with Dustin and Cody.
No,
just because they're brothers and they played that whole thing up.
I agree to that extent.
Their father, everything.
I agree to that extent, but because we have the road to All Out and they've been really pushing this match more than any other match on that series, I think there's just that investment because those that watch the series on YouTube,
I get that.
You have to pick. All right, are we going with Cody? Are we going with Shawn Spears? Why is Shawn Spears doing this to Cody after so many years of friendship? And why is Tully Blanchard getting involved all of a sudden?
Do you feel like Shawn Spears is really at that level where he's a Jericho, like he's the top heel? There's this hatred. I feel like he's on his way there and he can get there, but they're also banking on him being able to deliver and being able to him to capitalize on the opportunities they're giving him.
Well,
he's an unproven commodity in the role he's in AEW right now.
True, but I think also he was an unproven commodity in WWE because when he got up to the main roster, he just was never, ever used.
I agree with that.
So many people don't know what he can really do in the ring. They only know, oh, Shawn Spears is Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger is Shawn Spears. And Shawn Spears is getting married or is married to Peyton Royce. That's really all they know about him. Mm-hmm. They didn't get, they see the perfect 10, and the 10 chant is more over than Ty Dillinger ever was or that Shawn Spears is right now. But very similar to Darby Allin, this could be his coming out match with Cody and be like, oh, guess Shawn Spears is serious here.
That up. The match with Darby Allin, while it was a good match, was the crowd really into it?
I think towards the end, yes, because
towards the end, they were able to win him over. But for a good majority of that match, because Darby Allin was so much of like an unproven commodity to the casual fan,
right?
I think that and there's so many elements that go into matches. There's the ring work, there's the commentary. If you're watching it at home, there's the atmosphere, and to me, the atmosphere really helps convey how good of a match it is. Like if you're watching it at home and the crowd's going nuts, to me that helps establish that this is something you should really care about. This match means something. So if you go back and you look at Hogan and Rock, they didn't do anything fancy. It was pretty much basic spots, but the crowd was just absolutely electric. Right. You look at Cody and Dustin, the same thing. I don't think you're going to get that with Cody and Shawn Spears. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong, but I bet my bottom dollar Omega and PAC are going to do some cool shit and the fans are going to go nuts for it.
True, and I'm not saying that, but we're also going to see similar stuff in the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers.
Yep.
We're going to see similar stuff in Angelico and Jack Evans versus Private Party. We're going to see similar stuff in,
So you're saying this match will stand out just based on psychology alone.
right.
I agree with that.
Right. Because there's going to be storytelling, there's going to be psychology, there's going to be, there might be a couple suicide dives in some spots, but it's not going to be like what we're going to see in the ladder match. It's not something we're going to see in the Omega versus Pac match. Hangman versus Jericho might be somewhat similar, but I think a lot of people have thrown that match to the back burner just because, Hangman's another one that's not a proven commodity yet to some people. And Jericho is past his prime where some people might not think that's going to be a good match. And I think a majority of people have given a foregone conclusion. I mean, I put this up on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube community page on who's going to win that match. And it's like 2/3 of people are saying Jericho's going to win that match. So I think people aren't as invested because they think Jericho's going to win.
And that usually will translate in the crowd.
Right.
If you think that this is a foregone conclusion that, yeah, this guy's definitely going to win, people don't necessarily get as invested in it, and that does hurt the match.
Right. So that's actually our next topic for our next episode. Who needs the AEW Championship more, Jericho or Hangman Page? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. Subscribe for the best conversations in AEW, WWE, NXT, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. For Ralph Valenti, my name is Michael Valenti. Thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.